Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL 2023 playoffs divisional round best bets, where I go through one bet that I really like on each of these four matchups. And then we do have a few other things to look at when it comes to overall trends surrounding the divisional round and where the smart money is being placed, things like that. But first, we're going to go over my favorite bets and then a parlay that I do like. So first, I'm going in on the Jaguars plus the 8.5 on the road in Kansas City. The Chiefs tend to play closer than expected games. 8.5 in a playoff game in the NFL. I mean, we saw it with the Buffalo Bills last week against the third-string QB. No matter what, it's tough to cover. So I like Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars to take better care of the football and really hang in against the Chiefs team that's probably going to take a quarter or a quarter and a half to really kind of get the rust off, if you will, after having like a 2-week layoff. I do think the Chiefs win this game, and they're a smart team to include in a lot of your moneyline parlays for Saturday. But for this scenario, 8.5 in the playoffs is no joke. I like the underdog, as we saw last week with a lot of the underdogs covering. I will take the Jaguars to keep this game relatively close, but I do think the Chiefs win. Next, we have the Giants plus 7.5 at the Eagles. I love the Giants in this game to, at the very least, cover this spread. All of the smart money is in on the Giants to cover. That's why the line's actually gone down to 7.5. It was at 8.5. And the Eagles are a team. Jalen Hurts, one game in the past, month and a half. It just feels like it is a trap for Philadelphia at home after the long layoff. I understand they're going to be more healthy. I realize they have the more talented roster, but this is the NFL. These teams are all very comparable, especially when you get to the playoffs, and you've got Daniel Jones, who has really embraced running the football and really has probably the most confidence he's ever had in his entire career. I think the Giants can cover and keep this game close. It is a divisional game. It's going to be hard fought. Philadelphia does have a good home crowd advantage, but all of the smart money, all of the trends in this matchup say to go in on the Giants. Bengals at the Bills will take the over 48 with a weather caveat. So this game is in Buffalo, and there's some talk of maybe a little snow in this game. Doesn't look like anything crazy, but we know with Buffalo this time of year, it is something to watch. But just in general, the reason you would go in on the over, and pretty much everyone is in on the over 48, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, sometimes going against the general public is probably better, but this is Joe Burrow, this is Josh Allen, and really, there's just something about the Buffalo Bills having a horrible defense in the playoffs. I mean, this is like 3 straight years now where they're allowing 30-plus points, 25 points, whatever. Now you're going against Joe Burrow. I surprisingly do think Buffalo covers the 5-point spread, because you take a look at what happened last week with the Bengals almost losing to Baltimore without Lamar Jackson, really getting lucky on that 1-yard line fumble return for 99 yards. Also, the Bengals very one-dimensional. They're really a pass-only team. Even with Joe Mixon, he has not been good running the ball in terms of efficiency in the second half of the year. The Bills, on the other hand, had basically every break go against them last week against Miami, and they still won. So I like the over 48 because the Bills' defense in the playoffs is terrible, and it's Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. I like the value on that. And then the Cowboys plus the 3.5 at the 49ers. So, the Cowboys playing great football right now. Very hard to judge the 49ers. I mean, we really have never seen something like this where a 7th-round pick rookie QB goes on a crazy run. I realize he's got a really talented roster, but just based off of the quarterback matchup, Dak Prescott versus Brock Purdy, listen, I respect Brock Purdy, but if you're going to give me Dak plus 3.5, I will take that value to where even if the Cowboys lose this game by a field goal and it's a hard-fought game, you're still winning if you're taking the Cowboys plus 3.5. There has been money that has been placed on Dallas to bring this number down. It originally was 4, so it's come down a little bit. I think the Cowboys, based off their game last week, the overall offensive weapons, and the fact that, you're going up against a rookie quarterback, you have to like the Cowboys to win this game. But really, San Francisco is a miserable team to either bet on or bet against because they're so unpredictable with their quarterback situation. And then when it comes to my one parlay of the week, it's just a 3-leg parlay. Number 1, it's the Chiefs money line versus the Jaguars. So like I said, I see the Jaguars covering the large spread, but I don't think that they win this game. It would be shocking if Trevor Lawrence beat Mahomes, with Mahomes being the MVP, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. That would be very surprising. I do think the Chiefs probably get off to a slow start and it's a close game, but they're going to win that game. The Giants plus the 7.5 at the Eagles. All the numbers say the Giants keep this game very, very close and cover the 7.5 with the momentum that they currently have. And then the Bills money line versus the Bengals. I have the Bills winning the Super Bowl. I still like the Bills. Some people, it seems like, are overreacting to their game against Skylar Thompson. Again, everything went against them, and they still won. I know they're facing a third-string quarterback, but you've got, balls being tipped off of Cole Beasley's hands for interceptions. You've got ridiculous pass interference penalties. You're outgaining the other team by 220 yards, and you barely win the game. So Cincinnati, again, one-dimensional. I think this is the year the Bills get to the AFC Championship game. And now we're going to take a look at some of where kind of the general public money is on when it comes to the trends of these games. So beginning with the Saturday game, by the way, guys, this is all, there's no subscription needed to look at this stuff. So it's all free. And we've got Jacksonville at Kansas City. And guys, take a look at this. We've got all the professional bettors in on Jacksonville plus the 8.5. We've got a lot of the general public tickets going in on the Chiefs to cover. It's not surprising. It's Mahomes versus Trevor Lawrence. The general public is really, they love Mahomes. So a lot of them are on the Chiefs to cover, but you've got a lot of professional bettors throwing a ton of money, finding value in Jacksonville, receiving 86% of the cash compared to Kansas City getting 57% of the overall tickets. And then also, you've got professional bettors loving the under 50. That's a high over-under, man. That is for the playoffs. I am surprised it's at 53. That seems like, a rather high number. I understand it's Lawrence versus Mahomes. The Jaguars were just involved in a 61 total point game. They won 31-30, but it does seem like a high number. When you look at the Giants, you've got a lot of overall cash coming in on the Giants to cover the 7.5, and the tickets also are in agreement, a little bit less. They will cover. Not surprising because that line has dropped. Most of the money is on the Giants. That's why the line would drop. And then you also have money on the over 48. I would stay away from the over-under in this game. Philadelphia home playoff games tend to be real low scoring. It's just kind of a trend I've noticed, so I would stay away from that. Cincinnati at Buffalo, you have pretty even, 56% of the money coming in on Buffalo to cover, and then most of the tickets are on Cincinnati plus the 5, but it's very even, and then a ton of money on the over 48. As long as we get good weather, Burrow versus Josh Allen, and understanding the trend of Buffalo's defense just not showing up for the playoffs, I would have to say I agree with the 99% here, and I would love the over 48. I mean, it is pretty remarkable. You've got Burrow versus Josh Allen. The over-under is 48. You've got Lawrence versus Mahomes. The over-under 53. That's really not adding up unless there's some crazy weather circumstance that Vegas is taking into account, like there's 50 miles per hour winds or something. It seems like there's value on the over in the Bills game and the under in the Chiefs game. And then the Cowboys at the 49ers, you have some money slightly leaning towards the Dallas side. 56% of the overall cash going in on the Cowboys, but the overall tickets do like the 49ers. The general public likes Brock Purdy. The San Francisco team's been great, so it is understandable. And then how about this? A lot of the pros like the under 86% of the cash coming in on the under. The general public likes that's a high number. I know the Cowboys play a lot of higher scoring games, but 46 points. I mean, I was just thinking about the Cowboys-Bucks game, and it seemed like there was tons of scoring in it, but it only totaled 45 points. The final score was 31-14, so I would stay away from that. If I was going to go in on something, it would be Dallas plus the 3.5. And then let's take a look at some of these trends. Once again, guys, this is all readily available information. This is all free. I'm not, using a subscription to get any of this stuff. It says, when in doubt, fade home favorites. Fade divisional round home favorites. Yeah, I mean, I look at this stuff and I see like a 58% win percent. And that doesn't really do it for me. I really can't call that a trend. I mean, you're barely making any money, with them already having to take the minus 110 off the top. So 58% win percentage, I really wouldn't consider that a major trend. Fade divisional road home favorites on the money line. So that is interesting there. Profit of 1,600 for that. So that would be like the Chiefs possibly losing to the Jaguars, the Eagles possibly losing to the Giants. Fade number one seeds in particular. You can see 66% win percentage. Yeah, guys, both of these one seeds I don't think are going to the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles might lose outright to the Giants. I do think the Chiefs win, but I don't think they'll cover. So that is kind of the trend. Fade favorites with over 75% win rate. Wow. Look at that. 30-15. And that would be, I believe, the Eagles and 75% win rate. San Francisco and Buffalo. Oh, that's all of them. Wow. Fade divisional round favorites over 75%. Can they not abbreviate? Like, I can't even understand what they're saying. Fade divisional round favorites over 75% win money line. I mean, come on, folks. You get back road teams that missed last year's playoffs. So that's the Giants for sure. 26-12. Wow. Who is that? The Giants and Jaguars. And more bad news for the Eagles and Chiefs. So yeah, guys. So the main trends when it comes to the divisional round, it's going against the one seeds. Going in on the Giants plus the 7.5 and the Jaguars plus the 8.5. I'm just saying, those are the trends right now. Those are the major trends. The one seeds normally don't cover when it's around 7 or 8 point favorites and they're coming off a bye. So that's what I'm kind of taking away from that. Back road teams in division rematches unless, fade divisional round home teams on one-game losing streaks. Who's on a one-game losing streak? All of this year's teams escape. So no one's on a one-game losing streak. Back money line underdogs of 7 to 11 points. Again, that is, I would not say to go in on the money line for the Jaguars, but maybe the Giants. Maybe the Giants, I would say, would be the team to play if you're trying to get zesty with a money line underdog. I don't know what the Giants are on the money line right now. They're only plus 280. I thought they'd be like plus 320 or something. They brought that number down, I feel like. But either way, guys, that's going to do it with all the trends and my best bets for the divisional playoff round. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.